Hello, I'm Peter Vaughan, and today I'm at the Caravan and Motorhome Club's Malvern Hills site. In fact, you can see those Malvern Hills behind me. And the van I've got to test is the very latest from Auto Trail, brand new model for 2025, the XL620S. Now, regular viewers of the channel will remember that about a year ago I did a review of the complete XL range, which was then brand new and about to go on the market for the 2024 season. There were 4 models which we followed up after that range review with a detailed review of the 690L, a 6.9 metre motorhome with a rear lounge. But all the 4 initial models in the XL range had similar, slightly continental layouts, all with rear travel seats with a half dinette arrangement behind the cab. Now here is a new pure 2-berth couples van as an addition to the range. So now 5 models, all based on the Ford Transit. Like the existing models in the XL range, this new 620S is 2.24 metres wide, and that's a crucial aspect because it's 11 centimetres narrower than other Auto Trail coach-built motorhomes. When they launched the XL range, Auto Trail saw this as an obvious step up, people wanting to upgrade from a camper van to something a little bit bigger but not full width, so still more manoeuvrable and easier to drive, but with the flat sides of a coach built giving it more interior space and of course more storage as well. They're all 3.5 tonne motorhomes, of course, too, so you can drive them on a standard car licence, and all of them come like this one with 5 choices for the cab colour, including this chrome blue, which is by far my favourite, but if you don't like that, you could have black, silver, or there are a couple of greys as well. As you can see from the side view, not only is this a slimline coach-built motorhome, but also a short one. In fact, well, the numbering says it all. 620, it's 6.2 metres long. The same length, in fact, as the 620G, which is already in the range, but that has a rear garage. Here, because of the position of the door, you actually got a shorter wheelbase and a longer rear overhang. But 620S, well, it is a vehicle with a lot of payload as well. With a payload in standard form of 745 kilos, well, you're not going to have to trouble the weighbridge too often or worry about being pulled over for being overweight, because as I say, this is just a 2-person van, no rear travel seats, no garage, so you're not going to be carrying that much stuff. You're never going to run out of that payload. Other figures, well, the overall height is 2.88 metres, and then the pricing starts at £64,102 on the road, but that's really not that realistic because you'll want the driver's pack, you'll want the Lux pack. We'll come on to those in a bit more detail later on. And this vehicle, as you see it here, is £71,610. So time now to look at some of the external details, starting along the offside. Now you've got your fresh water tank under the back here. That's a 90 litre capacity, and there's your drain valve for it. If you look underneath the van, you'll also see that there's a spare wheel, but it is rather buried behind the water tank, so I wouldn't want to have to get that out. Toilet servicing hatch, of course, and a frosted window for the bathroom. The black alloy wheels are £995 optional extra. Then you've got your mains hookup, or your external shower point, that is cold water only. And then here you've got external access, of course not a garage, but still access into storage under the offside sofa. So useful to be able to get at that from outside. Windows are these polyvision windows, not quite flush, but they're nice framed windows nonetheless, especially on a relatively affordable motorhome these days. And then your grey tank or your waste tank is here. That's 80 litres capacity, and it has this nice simple T-handle for emptying. You'll also find that there's quite a decent sized bore on that, so it does drain down quite quickly. At the back, I think they've done a rather neat job of the styling. In fact, it looks better than a lot of more expensive motorhomes to my eyes. You've got this roof spoiler that incorporates the reversing camera, mountings for the bike rack if you want one, these nice round tail lights with the chrome rings around them, and these corner sections you see are separate, so if you do have a little tiny bump at the back corner, well, you shouldn't have to replace the whole lot. Then up on the roof you've got a TV aerial and a 200 watt solar panel. Then down the near side you've got your external barbecue point, your fresh water filler, the door will come back to, your gas locker takes two 6 kilo cylinders, but it is quite high off the ground, so well, lugging them in and out won't be too much fun. The mud flaps are fitted on both sides at the back, only small ones, but they perhaps will keep the back of the van a little bit cleaner. And then again, external access into your under seat space, and this is the bigger locker, this one on the near side. So that's the exterior of this XL620S. Time to go inside via this Hartle door. Now that is linked to the central locking. Nice feature always to have. Got a bin on the door, the trademark Auto Trail brolly, which came in rather useful yesterday when it was grey, dismal, and you couldn't even see the Malvern Hills. Well, this is August in Britain, so what do you expect? Just come back from 36, 38 degrees in the south of France in my own van, and well, this feels like the middle of winter to me. But back to the Auto Trail, and you've got the fly screen on the door, of course, but the key thing is no external step, because you've got this internal step that's not too high, and nice and easy access without fiddling about with a step. Now, before I show you the interior of this XL620S, well, I'm going to enjoy a cup of coffee, and you can enjoy the view of the Malvern Hills behind me. But more seriously, let's look at those packs that I mentioned earlier, because the driver's pack, well, that's £1,975, and that gives you the heated electrically adjustable mirrors, automatic headlights, front fog lamps, body colour side mouldings, heated windscreen with low washer tank warning, the trend instrument panel with locking glove box, colour-coded front bumpers, cab air conditioning, high series headlamps with static bending, which I think means cornering lights, collision mitigation system, lane assist, speed sign recognition, front parking sensors, and a tyre pressure monitoring system. You'll want all that lot, won't you? And then the Luxe pack, well, that's £1,578. That includes the new Ford 12-inch touchscreen dashboard display with DAB radio and Apple CarPlay, a lithium leisure battery, TV aerial and preparation, not the TV itself, the solar panel, the Omnivent, which is an extractor or blow in and out roof vent, upgraded habitation door with fly screen, removable carpets in the cab and the living area, and the colour reversing camera, and the external barbecue point. I can't see Auto Trail building any of these XLs without both the drivers and the Luxe pack, but you'll want both anyway, won't you? Well, this is what you've been waiting to see, the internal layout of this new 620S, and it's a British classic. This is a layout that's been around for well over 20 years. I think Really, it was probably the Autocruise Starfire. Anyone remember that? That started off this sort of layout. Autotrail used to do it themselves with the Tracker EKS until that sort of went out of fashion. But now it's back with surprisingly few rivals, really. The AutoQuest 115 from Eldis is an obvious competitor, but a little bit down market from this. And then up market from this is the Autosleeper Nuevo, but both of those are on Stellantis Fiat stroke Peugeot base vehicles, whereas this of course is on the Ford, so something a bit unique. What isn't unique is that this is a very popular layout for couples. Not a big van as we've seen, but with a really big lounge. That sofa on the near side is 1.83 metres long, 6 foot. This one is 1.51, so still a good length. Autotrail weren't tempted to keep this van under 6 metres because they wanted to give it this super-sized lounge. And it feels even bigger because you've got these big windows on either side. You've got that big MPK roof light with the sliding mechanism that I like so much to open it. You've got another big opening skylight, this big sunroof over the cab. And no fixed table, this nice sort of tweedy grey upholstery. It all feels very spacious as a compact two-berth motorhome. The settees are at a comfortable height too, and of course plenty long enough for you to put your feet up. If you want to watch the telly, well, probably the best place is in the cab seats, again swiveled round with your feet up. TV itself is an option, £420 for that Avtex 21.5-inch screen. And then lighting after dark, where you've got these strip lights under the top lockers and more ambient lighting above. You've also got reading lights at the back end of each of the sofa. Sadly, no reading lights over the cab seats, but, well, you remember this isn't a premium van. It's quite almost an entry-level model. Scatter cushions too, and the blinds are the posher pleated type. When the lounge becomes your dining room, well, the table stores in its own little cupboard at the back here. It's a freestanding table, so you can use it outside as well as inside. It's not too heavy and very easy to erect. However, it's quite slim, so you'd be best off sitting side by side to eat, and then you can pull it towards you rather than fighting over whether it's your side or mine. As you saw from outside, there's also good storage under these settees. Now, to access them inside the van, it's easiest to remove the base cushion. The backrest cushion can stay there. There is no drop front access. This little door here is just into your habitation electrics. But with the backrest there, the gas struts have got enough strength to hold up the base. Now on this side, you've got, as I say, your habitation electrics and your boiler and your leisure battery. So some of the storage is taken up already, but you've still got a good size space at the front here. Maybe the leisure battery should be slightly boxed in, but I think they haven't done that because then there's space for that second battery option. Still, good size space on that side and even better on the other side. On the near side again, we've lifted off the base cushion and then left the backrest cushion there, and the gas struts again can hold up the base, but they can't if you leave the base cushion in place. Now here you've got the whole area devoted to storage, although there is an area here where you mustn't cover the heater intake vents, but this is 2 single duvets and 2 pillows, and that takes up roughly half the space. If you've got taller items, bigger items, outdoor chairs, those would have to go in here. Good size storage because those water tanks are underslung. On both sides of the vehicle you've got good high level storage as well. Because there's no drop down bed to interfere with the space, these are good size lockers, all with concealed catches underneath, although a couple of them aren't actually securing because they're not quite aligned properly on this prototype. Nevertheless, lift up the cupboards on these strong hinges and you've got shelves throughout, but they are removable if you want to get bigger items in there. But loads of storage all the way along the van on both sides of the vehicle. But there's always a but, isn't there? In the overcab space, well, these side shelves are, well, almost useless. If only the lips were a bit deeper, or they had safety nets or doors even, well, they would be a lot more useful. I wouldn't want to keep anything heavier than, well, tissues in there in case they came flying out and hit me on the head on a roundabout. At the other end of the van, of course, you've got your kitchen and the washroom in the back corner. Now, the only snag with this sort of layout of any brand, of course, is that the chef won't want to be interrupted mid preparing their lobster thermidor by someone coming in and out of the habitation door. But that is a small issue. It's just one of those things with this layout. One of the things with this new XL is that you get a microwave built in now. That's a new feature across the whole XL range that the 620S also benefits from. 800 watt Russell Hobbs microwave. Down below that you've got your 3 burners, gas burners, Thetford triplex cooker, so it includes the combined oven and grill. So you've got plenty of cooking options. Alongside that, the sink is inset and has a lift-off cover, but that, when it's in place, gives you a decent amount of worktop. Still a little bit of corner worktop, even with the sink lid off, and that is the only place where you can plug in a mains appliance. This van does seem desperately short of mains sockets. The only one I could find anywhere in the van. Yes, convenient for a toaster or a kettle or something in this corner, but, well, I wanted somewhere to plug my laptop in that wasn't requiring a 10-metre cable. Storage, well, you've got plenty of cupboard space down underneath the oven, and at the bottom here, some really good size cupboards, but they do mean getting down on your hands and knees to find your plates or whatever. Up here, you've got a good sized drawer. It's a 2-level one. Over on the right hand side you've got cutlery there, and then room for other stuff underneath it. So good sized drawer, but of course, you know, there have to be savings at the more affordable end of the motorhome market, and fitting cupboards rather than drawers is cheaper. If you're looking for more worktop, well, this area is a little bit taller, but it does give the chef a bit more preparation space. And then, of course, there's more storage below. It's not deep storage because you've got the gas locker at the back of this area, obviously accessed from outside. But at the bottom there is room for taller items such as bottles of wine and bottles of pop. At the back here, I thought this looked really neat, this shelving unit with the elasticated straps, but the straps are so tight that you can only fit very small items in there. This bottle of Fairy just about fits, as does my torch, but I had hoped that you might get a bottle of wine or something in there, but the shelves aren't tall enough and the elastic straps aren't long enough. Might be nice to make that more of a drinks area with a little bit of adjustment. Perhaps a competent DIYer might have a go at that. Over on the other side, you've got a tall fridge, Thetford 149.5 litre fridge freezer. That half must make all the difference. At the top, you've got your 17 litre freezer compartment. At the bottom, your bottle drawer. keep your Pepsi nice and cold. More storage in a cupboard down below, again, does rather mean getting on your hands and knees. And then alongside that, a very slim wardrobe with a shelved cupboard down below. In there I've got the infill cushions that you'll see later on for the single beds. Although there is a dearth of 3-pin sockets in this van, I should have pointed out there are USBs built into both the reading lights. And then over the habitation door, well, you've got your auto trail control panel, very simple touch screen, operates the lights, shows you battery condition, water levels, that sort of thing. And then over on this side, you've got your controls for the whale heating and boiler. Have to say they're not as intuitive as the Truma controls on the Combi that you see in so many vans. These whale controls take a little bit more understanding and getting used to, and you can't just dial in the temperature you want in the living area, which is a shame. Another thing is that on this particular van, the boiler seems to keep dumping its water, which is a bit of a pain. And then in the rear corner, of course, is the washroom, which you step up into. There's a decent amount of space sitting on the loo, and despite the fact it's on a small plinth, it wasn't uncomfortable for me, with sort of average length legs for a man. You've got all the usual accessories, robe hooks, towel ring, toilet roll holder. The only ventilation is the opening window behind me, but there's storage at low level and high level. You've got a big mirror backlit behind the wash basin, which is quite a nice little square unit. But what a pity that the tap only overhangs the basin by such a tiny amount. It makes washing your hands really quite awkward. Why isn't the tap longer? But I'll forgive that, because in a compact van, you've got a good size separate shower. Yes, the shower has only one drain in the tray, which means that water does pool a little bit until you drive off and move it towards the outlet. And the other issue with the shower is that there is nowhere, apart from on the floor, to put your shower gel and your shampoo. But it's a good sized shower, plenty of room in there, and well, decent water pressure, and so much better than having a combined shower or anything with a sticky, horrible shower curtain. So thumbs up for the separate shower. So that's all the daytime facilities. What about at night? Well, for a start, these cab blinds are a £680 option. But what about bed making? Of course, you haven't got a fixed bed, so your lounge becomes your bedroom. Very easy on the near side. You could just remove this backrest cushion, but a better option really is just to slide out the bed base a little and let that backrest drop down behind. You've got a bed that's 1.83 metres long, 6 foot exactly, pretty much, and 61 centimetres or 2 foot wide across the mattress. Even if you don't have the backrest cushion here, you're not sleeping against a cold wall. There is a sort of insulating panel between you and the actual internal wall of the motorhome. So very simple on the near side. What about on the off side, where the settee is obviously that much shorter? Well, simply do the same again. Again, the bed is 61 centimetres or 2 foot wide. And now you have one of these infill cushions. Simply slots on to the swiveled passenger seat. And now you have a bed that's 1.93 metres or 6'4" long. And I had slept here last night, found this cushion didn't move. I didn't notice the join. You could raise the seat up just a fraction more just to make it even flatter, but you really don't notice that you're sleeping with your feet on an infill. If you were the other way round, of course, it would matter a lot more, but with your feet on there, it really doesn't matter. Pity then that the TV is at the wrong end of the bed, but at least you have the reading lights at the correct end. And if you're really, really tall, you could always line up the other seat and turn this bed into one that is a massive 2.23 metres long, 7'4". Now that should suit just about any motorhomer I've ever met. So that's the twin single beds, and incidentally, if you're tall, headroom in the van is up to 1.98 metres or 6'6", so that will suit taller buyers too. But what if you actually still like your partner and you want to sleep in a double bed? Well, that's possible too. So this time, pull the bed bases right out and then use these support legs. Do that on both sides so that the two bed bases meet in the middle. Pull out the base cushions. The backrest cushions, fortunately, are strapped to the side walls for travel, so they don't just end up in a heap on the floor when you go around the first corner. And they fit nice and tightly when you fold them down into a bed. Now, you've got a couple of options here. If you sleep in a transverse double bed, it's 1.91 metres long, or 6'3". But width obviously varies. At the head end, it is a very generous 1.79 metres, or 5'10½". But it does narrow at the foot to 1.49 metres, or 4'11". Still a very good size bed. But you could alternatively perhaps sleep lengthways, and using the infill cushions on the cab seats, you would have a truly enormous bed. Although sleeping with your partner, your pillows wouldn't line up, so it might feel slightly odd, and you would need single duvets rather than a king size to fit the shape of the bed. But it does give you options depending on how you like to sleep and how tall you are. Time now then to go for a drive. The first thing I should tell you about this Ford Transit is that it isn't to the latest spec. Although the motorhome you see here is a 2025 model, the base vehicle it's built on is still a 24. Two big changes. Firstly, you won't get this Accent head unit, you'll get Ford's own, which is a bigger screen now, 12-inch display. The other big change is the automatic gearbox. This is the old 6-speeder. The new Transit has an 8-speed automatic gearbox. That's an £1,860 option if you want it. When you pull away, the other thing is that you have now an electric parking brake rather than a manual lever. Two engine options. This is the 130 horsepower. You can go up to 165 for an extra £1,200, but on this little motorhome I really don't see the need. As you'll see, it bowls along quite nicely with just 130 horsepower, and it's got all the things that I like about the Ford. The lower seating position, the smaller car-like steering wheel with plenty of adjustment on the helm so you can get the steering wheel exactly where you want it. adjustable lumbar support on the seats, twin armrests. It's a very comfortable place to drive a motorhome, much less commercial, much less van-like than the Fiat. You've also got the wide track rear axle, so it feels nice and stable on the road. Although I have to say that perhaps with that longer rear overhang, you do notice it is slightly less sure-footed than, say, the 620G with that really long wheelbase relative to the body size. But most people will be more than happy driving this Ford. The only thing you will have noticed, of course, is there are some rattles coming from the back. So that's the Auto Trail XL 620S. It's a classic British layout brought up to date for 2025, and I think they've done a really good job. It feels nice and contemporary inside, with less wood, more grey with the furniture and the upholstery and so on. And yeah, there's a lot going for this. If you don't need any rear travel seats ever, remember, this is a classic couples van that works really, really well. You've got a really spacious lounge area that makes into generous sized beds. You've got the separate shower, you've got the big fridge. So yeah, there's a lot of appeal here. What don't I like? Well, I would like more main sockets throughout the vehicle, specifically in the lounge, and perhaps by that side cupboard forward of the door. I'd also like some winterization for the underslung tanks, but really we're down to details because, well, this is a classic layout, just done really quite well. I think Auto Trail will do very well with this. Let me know what you think, and please don't forget to like and to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.